We bring you the latest updates from the Pna Newsroom. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. is set to leave tomorrow for a working visit to Tokyo, Japan. The Department of Foreign Affairs said the working visit aims to maximize the full potential of the Philippine-Japan strategic partnership in all aspects and promote stronger defense, security, political, economic, and people-to-people ties. Marcos also hopes to sign 7 bilateral agreements with Japan covering infrastructure, agriculture, information technology, and defense. Marcos is also set to sign umbrella terms of reference on humanitarian assistance and disaster relief cooperation between the Department of National Defense and Japan's Ministry of Defense. According to the DFA, the president sees the trip as significant because Japan was the first country with which the Philippines established a strategic partnership. First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos will join him, as well as former President Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, Foreign Affairs Secretary Enrico Manalo, Finance Secretary Benjamin Diokno, Trade Secretary Alfredo Pascual, Energy Secretary Rafael Lotilla, Tourism Secretary Cristina Frasco, Special Assistant to the President Anton Lagdameo, and Communications Secretary Cheloy Garafil. The suggested retail price for red onions in Metro Manila wet markets has been reduced to 125 pesos per kilogram. The suggested retail price is applicable for medium and large-sized imported red onions in wet markets in the National Capital Region, as stated in Administrative Circular Number 5 of the Department of Agriculture. The SRP will go into effect immediately after publication and will remain in effect for 60 days after approval unless revised, revoked, or lifted. The reduced SRP comes after weeks of skyrocketing onion prices, with bulbs reaching up to 700 pesos per kilo during the holiday season. The deputy spokesperson Rex Estoperez earlier said they have been eyeing the said SRP following the arrival of imported onions and the peak of the onion harvest season in the country. Several senators suggest tightening regulations on alcohol sale and the creation of a task force to implement the government's action plan to address teenage pregnancies in the country. Senator Amy Marcos on Tuesday proposed the creation of a task force that will implement Executive Order 141 signed by former President Rodrigo Duterte. This came after Executive Director Romeo Dongueto of the Philippine Legislators Committee on Population and Development said the action plan created after the issuance of the EO was not implemented. The action plan includes the rollout of a comprehensive sexuality education program. For his part, Senator Raffy Tulfo suggested imposing stricter regulation on alcohol sale to prevent situations leading to teenage pregnancies. He also proposed stricter monitoring of clubs, hotels, and motels to prevent the entry of minors. Tulfo also suggested monitoring social media platforms to prevent minors from accessing sites and pages with sexual content. Senator Robin Padilla meanwhile noted that minors are able to watch pornographic videos on social media sites because of lack of regulations. In sports, the Palarong Pambansa is back after years of cancellation due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The Department of Education said the multi-sport event for student athletes across the country will be held from July 29 until August 5 in Marikina City. The DepEd is introducing the pre-national qualifying meet, which will only feature team sports such as baseball, basketball, futsal, sepak takraw, football, and volleyball. All teams will be clustered into 4 groups with only 2 leading regional delegations per cluster that will advance to the Palarong Pambansa. The event will limit the number of delegations, shorten the period of the event, prevent disruption of classes, and lower incurred expenses. Meanwhile, sports that do not have qualifying standards and are not identified as team sports will advance directly to Palarong Pambansa. And that's the latest and the biggest stories from the Pna Newsroom. For more news content, visit our webpage or head on to the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. We are also shown on the social media pages of the Presidential Communications Office and Radio Pilipinas RP1. Stay tuned for more news updates. I'm Marita Muahe. We tell stories that inspire change.